نمتي مغبش لملاخون أنا إيوان آرياني شاية ودي باين مديانا قد يوخون خمتا بشمت هيلين دونلي قتيتلا من نيوزيلند نيوزيلند إلى خاجة زورتا جو باسيفيك أوشن قد نبلتلا بالسامة تختة مدن خطة أستراليا شولة هيلين دونلي إلى لايبراريان إن من سبب رابو خبيتلا قاعدة التشييط بني أمتن إن تريشنا لقد بياخا دوكيومنتري زرسا من خيوطة أطراية جو أطرد أبهاتن أبز جو أطروات مشاخاتوتا شيت داور خشلا أطروات قد بني أمتن كخي جابو وأشي تتيت لجو أطروات مشاخاتوتا قد فيلم بشغالي متيتلا من كندا خرطة شيكاغو نيويورك باستن وعادية تيتلا كاليفورنيا قد بوزو داماد آنوتا يمن بود بالخانو بالبنى أمتن عديخة همزمتا من جانو بتعبيل Helen, first of all, I want to welcome you to the Assyrian community in San Jose. It's really a privilege to find scholars, librarians, filmmakers that are interested in the history of our people and they want to document it through various mediums. The most interesting question, and the first question I want to ask you, is how did you come to learn about the Assyrians and got interested in their history?
I get asked that question a lot, actually. Well, because of my job in the library, public library, this particular library in Wellington, the capital of New Zealand, was right in the middle of a number of migrant and refugee communities of this city. And I was curious, as I wanted to get to know what different cultures and nationalities were coming into the library. And in particular, the Assyrians fascinated me because I wondered, what are they doing here so far away from Iraq, and why are they here? And then I learnt more and more about their culture and their language, which is unique, and their ancient history, and I just got more and more fascinated, so I couldn't stop it, really.
So I understand that you're making a documentary about the Assyrians. What places have you visited to make this documentary?
I've started in New Zealand, where I live, but last year I went to Iraq twice, to Syria, to Beirut, and Australia. So that's where I've been so far. And now, of course, North America.
And have you been documenting films in these different places that you have visited?
It's all been for the one film, the one documentary that I'm making at the moment, which is about the problem Assyrians face if they all leave Iraq and live in diaspora, the danger of losing their heritage and language and culture through assimilation. Yeah.
Okay. What do you plan to do with this documentary after you have finalized it?
My hope and dream is to put it in film festivals, starting in New Zealand and Australia, and hopefully further abroad. I'd love to take it to North America. There are different film festivals, documentary film festivals, but also human rights film festivals, and I think people would be really interested to know about this topic. Yeah. But after that, I'll certainly put it on DVD and have it available for people to buy, and also any TV channels that might be interested. Yeah, I'd like to put on there if I can too.
I'm certain that the Assyrian Association of San Jose, the Assyrian Foundation of America, they would be very interested to purchase copies.
Okay.
And, yeah, here in America, we're anxious to see the result of your work.
Thank you.
And have you thought about plans for the future, or right now you're just focusing on what you're doing with the Assyrian documentary?
This is my first feature-length documentary. It's a big project and it will take me at least a couple of years to finish. And it consumes all my thoughts and time, so I actually can't see past it at the moment. I don't know if I could find a subject that would affect me or feel as valuable to me, so I really don't know.
I want to ask you now a personal question. On the basis of your own experience, um, how would you describe Assyrians, both positive and negative profile?
That's an interesting question. I've known Assyrians in New Zealand for must be 6 or 8 years now. Many of them are my friends. I've come to feel like I'm part of their family now. So I feel I love them very much, and so there's many good things I think about Assyrians. In particular, though, I feel it's they're very passionate people, and very warm, and have very big hearts. And they're very family and very connected to each other, and I'm always very jealous of that. I don't get that from my culture or my family. Perhaps one negative, I feel like Assyrians are very critical of themselves, and I think that's sad, because I don't think they need to be, and they have so much to value about themselves that, yeah.
So when you went and visited the Assyrians in Iraq, was it you went first to Baghdad and then to northern Iraq?
That's right.
Could you describe a little bit what were the conditions that you faced? And that was last year, right?
That was last
so
year.
So that the news that you have for us is quite up to date. It's quite recent. What were the conditions of the Assyrians as you witnessed them in Iraq?
In Baghdad, it was very difficult. Baghdad it feels like a broken city. There's military checkpoints every 30 seconds as you drive along, and a lot of concrete and barbed wire, and there's a lot of rubbish and mess around. I went to a couple of churches, and I get the sense from people that they're terrified, they're scared. It's frightening just for them to walk down the street. So it's very difficult situation for them. In the north, it's much better. They're much more safe and relaxed, and more of a sense of much more freedom.
Is that the area which is under Kurdish occupation?
Yes, yes. But they still face different problems there, such as being discriminated against for jobs and economically, and they have the problems of living in Kurdistan, which maybe they don't get proper electricity supply or water, that kind of thing. And I think being a minority, it's becoming increasingly harder in Kurdistan as the Kurds try to dominate and take over and build their little empire there in Kurdistan. Yeah, so it's difficult. Yeah.
Now the Assyrians that are now in Syria, you visited Syria too. They're refugees from Iraq, right? And where did you find them, and what were the living conditions of those refugees?
Yes, I stayed for 1 week in Jaramana, which is in Damascus, which is where most Assyrians go when they leave Iraq, to wait for visas or United Nations to send them on to another country. It's very crowded there. They can struggle for money, but it's quite in a sense a relaxed way of life. They have each other. It's in a similar culture. They enjoy that way of life, but of course now the situation has changed quite drastically, and it's no longer like that anymore. So it's actually very, very difficult for them now. But as it was then, the family that I stayed with, once they came to Canada, they found life much more difficult, and actually wished they were back in Syria. So
as refugees?
Yeah. So
what were the difficulties they were facing in Canada?
This one particular family, I stayed with them for 3 weeks in a suburb where most of the new Iraqi migrants and Assyrian migrants go, and they were struggling because the father couldn't work, so he had to send his daughters out to work, and his wife had to work night shift, and they had a little boy, and there was this whole family in two bedrooms in this apartment block. It was just a difficult situation for them, trying to adapt and find work and survive. It was pretty eye-opening for me. Yeah, I just got a sense of what it's like for new migrants.
Mm-hmm. Helen, I wish you all the best in this project. Please keep in touch. And remember, we are very anxious to get a copy of this documentary and have a safe trip home.
Thank you so much, Dr. Isha. It's been lovely talking to you.
Lovely meeting you.